this is Craig Proctor, and welcome to the Craig Proctor Real Estate Show. My special guest today, the one and only Kellar Lawrence from Greenwood, South Carolina. Kellar, how you doing today, my man?
Better than good, man. Better than good, as Todd says.
Hey, you've been with me now for 15 years. Can you believe that? Where has time gone?
God, I don't know, man. And it sure made a huge difference in my business. And I'm a lifer, as they say.
Craig Proctor, lifetime member. That's what we want. We want to create lifetime members. Okay, so here's the dealio. Here's what we're going to do today. We're going to talk about, why you're the man in Greenwood, South Carolina, all the success you've had. Tell us a little bit about, here's how we'll do this. We'll talk about your business right now. We'll talk about where you want to go, but we're also going to back up the bus and talk a little bit about the journey that you've taken here, because you've come a long way, my man. You've come a long way. So tell us about your production, your team right now, and where you're going to take this thing in the years to come.
Okay, right now, last year we did 1.3 million in commissions and
nice.
About 265 transactions, and that was with 8 agents at the time, or 7 agents, I forget. Now I've got 10 agents, 10 OSAs, and I'm ever since the last couple of conferences, I'm in a really focusing on recruiting. So
and growing.
I've just been kind of, up until like the last 6 months, I've been kind of, taking an agent here and there, but something hit me like a ton of bricks. Somebody said at a conference, it's like, Todd said it. Why are y'all spending so much money to acquire buyers and sellers? What's the lifetime value of an agent? How come you aren't spending at least that or more on acquiring agents? And I'm like, that makes that makes so much sense.
That's great. Everybody, that's a great point. We spend all this money to get a buyer or to get a seller. What's the lifetime? We always talk about in real estate, what's the lifetime value of a client, right? Like, in most cases, they buy once or they sell once, and that's the end of it. And of course, we do whatever we can to make sure that our clients are lifetime clients, and they come back over and over again. They refer their friends and relatives. But the point you're making is, what's the lifetime value of an agent on your team?
Oh my God, I'm telling you.
And you're not in a high price range. Like, what's the average price range in your area?
It's like 200, and it's moved up to $207,000.
200. So you did 235 transactions. Average price is just a little over $200,000. So
last year the average price was about 165,000. So
165. So this is the first time you've been over 200K.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So you did all that, 235 transactions. Is that right?
265 last year.
265. I don't want to diminish your success here. 265 transactions with 7 agents. That's cool. Okay. So where are you going to take this thing? Now you've got this, you got this bee in your bonnet, right? Like, I'm going to grow my team.
Mm-hmm.
What's the lifetime value of an agent on my team, which is big. Where are you going to take this thing over the next year or two? What's the vision?
So I would say in the next 12 months, I'd like to have 20 agents or 25 agents and, double that.
Now, do you have the flow? I mean, some agents think, well, I'll just go out and realtors think I'll just go out and I'll hire more people and make more money, but you have to be able to turn on the faucets, and you have an abundance of leads.
Yeah.
So it's just the manpower that's kind of holding you back from doubling and tripling your production.
Yes. And with discovering this, in the last 6 or 9 months, we've been venturing outside of our little Greenwood, Abbeville area. I mean, going in the whole upstate of South Carolina now, discovered thanks to the Stampinis and telling us about getting Google screened and local services ads. I just put the whole upstate of South Carolina as my area, and people are calling me, hey, I saw your company, Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, when I did a Google search. Come list my house. So we're going, an hour and a half away.
So you're hiring agents in all these other locations. That was a paradigm shift for you, right? Because you're thinking,
not yet. I haven't hired agents in other markets. These agents here in Greenwood are going there to these appointments. So that's the next thing to do, to go to, hire, agents up there and expand up there, because we seem to be doing well. It was a paradigm shift in my head. That's not my market. But now that
right, now you're like, the South will rise again. Keller is expanding all over this. Okay, so are you going to keep it in South Carolina, or we go bigger?
Well, for now, South Carolina, I'm not opposed to going, outside of South Carolina.
But we have, as we have members like Sarah Reynolds now, who's in Washington, D.C. for everyone. She's in the D.C. area, but she's got offices in Atlanta and Denver. She's expanding all over the place. So, the office of the future is wherever you want that office to be located.
Yeah.
Now, okay, so let's talk about. I said a minute ago, you can't just sell more houses by hiring agents and growing your team. First of all, you gotta master the lead generation. Talk about your lead generation process. I mean, you're not running around making cold calls and door knocking and sitting in open houses. Talk about the Kellar Lawrence lead generation machine.
Well, so as long as I've been in the business, I've been in the business 31 years and been doing it 31 years here. So I get a ton of past clients and referrals and repeat business. And so that's half of it right there. And then outside of that, I've got the signs that are proctorized with the buy this home, I'll buy yours, everyday open house, and those, and the directionals that say public notice, all bids considered. So I get a lot of sign calls and stuff too. The ads that I'm running in the real estate magazines, and then, social media or 250 or trade. So all these, unique selling propositions and the trade and the guaranteed sale program.
And tell everybody about the name of your company. Even the name of your company is a unique selling proposition in itself.
Absolutely. Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. And, for years I was with Remax for a long time, and then I opened up my own company, Kellar Lawrence Real Estate. And then I didn't jump on. I didn't sign up the first day you brought the when you and Todd said, "Hey, we're gonna actually have a real estate company. Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty." I'm like, I don't know if I want to do that or not.
Because up and then it was your name, right? It was Kellar Lawrence. So why did you? So what attracted you to leaving a company that's named after you versus Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty? What was the reason you did that?
I was convinced that there's a huge SEO value. Several things. The SEO of it, I really bought into the fact that if you're, looking for real estate offices in Greenwood, South Carolina, and you got, Remax or Keller Williams or whatever, but then in the mix is Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. I mean, that's a no-brainer. I'm probably going to call that company first. If not,
that's exactly what's happening by your numbers. It's definitely working.
Hey, okay. And you know what else, Craig? I just had faith that was happening, and then like a few days ago, I had some guy call me in upstate South Carolina and said, I want you to come sell my house. I said, what made you call me? Where'd you get my number? What made you call me? He goes, I Googled guaranteed sale of my house in Anderson, South Carolina, and
boom.
your home sold guaranteed realty popped up.
Well, it's such a great name because of all the iBuyer companies. That's been a real trend, and really the guarantee that we offer to home sellers is superior than any offer they're going to get from an iBuyer company in two ways. First of all, our price is usually better, but number two, we give the seller the opportunity to market their property and get a better price, right? So our sellers who get the guarantee always get the benefit of the highest price, whether it's the upfront written guarantee that you give them, or it's a higher offer from an outside buyer. So it's been, I mean, the guaranteed sale program has been huge for you. Mm-hmm. It definitely has set you apart from all the other realtors. Now, the next, are you like top in the marketplace, or do you, like, are there people, other realtors that are close to you, or are you kind of dominating the marketplace?
I'm definitely selling. Me and my team are selling more than anybody else.
More than anybody else. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, a lot more. But another thing I started doing recently is one of the things that Todd said in the last conference or a couple conferences ago was, recruiting heavy hitters to come work for your company. So that was another reason why I wanted to change the name, because the heavy hitters that are currently in town or that are maybe in other towns, right, thinking about working here, and they got a good business going on their own. They don't want to be under Kellar Lawrence, right? Under the Kellar
and if
Lawrence
you ever go to sell it too, it's easier to sell, a company that doesn't have your name, and it's actually got a benefit to the consumer. Yeah. So you're actually creating an asset that you can someday sell. Where, if you sell Kellar Lawrence Realty without Kellar, it's a little more difficult. But it sort of gets past the ego part when you're trying to recruit top producers, because they're not working underneath another realtor in their mind. They're working for a company that can benefit them just in the name itself.
Yeah. And as you grow top producers within your own team, and then they get to the point where, they're killing it, and, natural thing that starts happening with these people is, I'm going to go out on my own, or go join another company, do something different. This helps retain heavy hitters within your own company too. That I'm not under the Kellar Lawrence team umbrella, and I'm under actually your home sold guaranteed realty, which is
so this has worked out. This has worked out really well. The name, when you do a Google search, if you search guaranteed home sale or home sales anywhere in South Carolina, they're going to see your home sold guaranteed realty. So it helps you with SEO. It helps you with your marketing. It makes it easier for you to attract top producing agents, and it helps you retain the top producing agents or the future top producing agents on your team. So that's awesome. Where do you see it? Where do you see this going over the next couple years? Because I know you're always building it. It's like a game to you, right? Like you just love it. You've been doing this for 30 years. You've been with me for over 15 years. So one thing I know is you're always looking for, the next building block, make it bigger and better.
Yeah. My goal is to, when I go to these conferences and these live events, I have a notebook full of stuff. And my goal is to get through the best of those things on my to-do list before the next conference. And it's a race for me to do it, and I don't always succeed, and it drives me nuts. You should see my office. I've got these stacks of projects all over the place.
Me too. Oh, that's an entrepreneur. When you can walk into an entrepreneur's office, and my wife comes in my office, there's crap everywhere, piles of stuff. Look, I got a pile here. FedEx thing. I haven't. I don't know if you can see that. I haven't read this, but I'm gonna read it. I got piles and
if I have them stacked if I have them neatly organized in my drawer, they're out of sight and out of mind. If I have them scattered all over my office in order of priority, it drives me nuts. And I got to get to that. I got to finish that. And I'm not a procrastinator. Actually, I actually do work on those piles and do eventually finish them. But there's so many the business is always changing, and you guys and all the other people in the program are always, coming up with new ideas and new things and ways to make your business better. And so it's just a constant involvement and constant improvement and constant change, which is fun. It is a game.
I know we're kind of strange in the fact that, most realtors would see some of the things that are happening as threats, but we always flip it around and we look at it. What's the opportunity? What's the opportunity? And okay, so tell us about the mastermind, like the friends you've made in the Craig Proctor organization. I mean, that's a big deal for you. The people, the exchange of ideas, like that's a massively huge part of being a Craig Proctor member. Talk about how that's really impacted you.
Oh man, I'm telling you, that is so true. That's why I cannot wait to get back to these live meetings. Because you miss that when there's a pandemic and you can't have these live meetings. I mean, honestly, some of the best ideas, I've become good friends with these guys. I can pick up the phone and, call any of them. People that are doing 10 times more than me that you wouldn't think it would give me the time of day, because I'm friends with them. And because all these guys are such good sharers, and they'll take the time to talk to you and help you through your problems. You can send a message out to your, Platinum Facebook page, or the Titanium Facebook page, or the Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty group. Everybody's there for anything you need.
Yeah,
if I have an open house question, I'm gonna call Nancy. If I have everybody's kind of got their specialties, it seems, that they talk about at these conferences. I can call this person about this, this person about this person about this. YouTube, calling Barb, or so it's really nice to have that connection and the friendship. And you know what else? I was starting to say earlier, some of the best ideas and some of the best aha moments I've gotten were at the bar after the conference.
That is so true.
Or at dinner. But most of them are, have a few drinks, and, I bring a notepad and a pen to the bar at the end of the conference, because I know that's where I'm going to get my best stuff, man.
Well, you've had a drink or two and your mind is wide open. But I think what's really important about the network we provide is not only are you hanging out with the top real estate agents in North America, but like you said, when you sort of become friendly with them and you know them well, and they're perhaps doing something that you're not doing, I mean, it's easy to think, well, I know all these guys personally. If they're doing it, I can do it, and they're going to help you share it. So that familiarity, just knowing a lot of people that are doing things that you're not doing, it kind of pushes you to do that. And they're there to kind of hold your hand and answer your questions. And everyone, like you said, is good at different things. They have different strengths. So
you're talking about, you were saying this in like the last conference, that some people's mindset, that won't work in my market. That won't work in my market. But if I know, Tracy King and Vinny and Jim and everybody's getting 4% and 9.95 transaction fee on buy sides, and it's of course I can do it, without hesitation, because it's proven in different markets. It's I don't know what made me.
It gives really great social proof, and the fact that they can do it is positive proof that you can do it. If someone else can do it, you can do it, and then because you're such good friends, you have access to them, and that is incredible, because between the conference and the meetings, you get to exchange notes. So there's that. Okay, now looking back on your massive growth. So when you started with me 15 years ago, let's go way back to the beginning. First of all, how did you meet me? How did you find out about me?
I think It was in the Realtor magazine, I believe. There was a direct response ad that you put in the Realtor magazine, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. See, advertising works.
Yes, it does. And it was very compelling. And I'm like, that sounds awesome to me. I'm going. I think maybe it was to call this 1-800 number and hear.
Yeah. I think it was.
And I called the 1-800 number, and I think it maybe sent a fax back or something, or something, or about to go to a conference. But anyway, somehow or another, was told about the upcoming super conference, and I'm like, I have to go to that.
Now, what did you think when you attended that very first super conference?
When I attended that very first super conference, it was like, I was not skeptical, because all along my career, I've always tried to get better. I mean, right when I got licensed, I immediately got my GRI, whatever that means. I don't know. And I immediately got my CRS after that. I immediately started going to.
So you were in search of how I can improve. That's just naturally.
I was, yeah, and I still am. And and so when I went to the conference, I'm like, I mean, I wasn't there an hour, and I'm like, aha, this is the roadmap. This is how you do it. There's no more shooting from the hip. There's no more, well, maybe I'll do this, and maybe I'll do that, and maybe I'll do that. And I mean, it was like, it was crystal clear within a short period of time that this was a system. It was a turnkey system on how to run your business, how to grow your business. And you found the roadmap. You found the promised land in real estate. Okay, so what did you take back? It was such a satisfying feeling. And when I signed up for coaching immediately, and then I remember distinctly taking all that stuff back and wiping my calendar clean for the next couple of days, and just spreading all that crap out on like we talked about earlier.
Just diving in,
moving the dining room table back, and spreading it all out on the floor, and just diving in, man.
Okay, so give us some tangible things. You go to the conference, you're like, okay, here's the roadmap. I found my guy. Here we are 15 years later. What did you start to change right away after you first met me? Like, what immediately started to change?
I started running direct response ads.
That's the biggie right there, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. What were you doing before? Like, were you doing any advertising before? Or were you just doing like the traditional brand?
Yeah.
Call Keller. He's a good guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Some sending stupid postcards out that were image based. A guy that works for me now, his grandfather gave me he brought in one of those old cards the other day, you know, the old outstanding in your field card, right?
Yeah.
I probably copied from you or somebody way back when. Those type of things. And I think I jumped right on the guaranteed sale program, because I was already buying houses and
right. So that immediately made sense to you.
So it immediately made sense to me, and I had no hesitation about it. So I immediately put those riders on my sign. Buy this home, I'll buy yours for cash. I modeled it exactly from the one you were doing all that long ago.
So you jumped on the guaranteed sale program right away, and it was copy.
Yes.
And so what happened right away?
My business, I started getting more leads, and my business started to grow.
And you're like, I like this. I'm going to do more of this. I'm going to keep doing this. Right.
Exactly.
Awesome. Okay. Hey, we're going to continue on here, but if you're liking what you're hearing here, you're watching this, you're listening to this, thousands of people will over the next couple of weeks, Keller. If you would like to book a free breakthrough call with me and my team, where we will look at what you're doing right now in your business. I mean, we will jump on a Zoom meeting. You can go, all you have to do is go to proctorcall.com. We'll type that into the comments below, proctorcall.com. So just my name, proctorcall.com. And so what we've been doing, Keller, for realtors is doing a free consultation. We call it a breakthrough call because that's our goal. Some people think, well, it's just going to be like a big sales pitch. No, no, no. What we're going to do is we're going to take an hour. We'll ask realtors a bunch of questions about where they are, what they're doing, what they've tried that doesn't work, why they're doing the thing they're doing. And how about this? Why they're not doing some of the things that they want to do, right? Usually there's some kind of obstacle, right? Like if you know where you are now and you know where you want to go, the obvious question is, why aren't you doing it? Why aren't you already where you want to go? There's something, usually an obstacle, something holding a realtor back. So during this 1 hour breakthrough call, which is on Zoom, we'll show you a few things, ask you some questions, and help you at least understand what that obstacle is and give you some solutions to go around that. So you're real excited, just like Kellar Lawrence. We want everyone to be getting up every day and excited to go to work as a realtor, really an entrepreneur. I mean, that's what we're creating here. We take entrepreneurs. If you're an entrepreneurial, if you're like Kellar and you're like, hey, man, I just want to be the best I can, and you're chasing improvement, which is probably why you're watching this right now, because that's just who you are. Go to proctorcall.com. Okay. You'll see my acuity day timer, book a day and a time that works. We'll jump on a Zoom call and have a little conversation, because that's what happened to Kellar and I way back 15 years ago. We got introduced, and we've been talking now, Kellar, for 15 years. You believe it?
Yeah,
and hopefully
man.
15 more.
I agree. Hopefully 15 more.
So what are your big goals going forward? Where are you going to take this thing? What's your big opportunities you think over the next few months, the next year?
Well, I would say my goal in the next year is to double, because I bought the upstairs of my building here, so I've got all this extra space up there and I bought that in hopes to fill it up with top producing agents.
I like that attitude. It's like, I'm going to buy the office first. I've got all these vacant offices. Now you got to fill them. Now you've got the office, you got to fill them.
And that was, I think that was one of the things that was holding me back about a year ago. Like, I'm jamming agents into these offices here, and where am I going to put them if I have them? So I'm like, I got to get the upstairs. So I bought the upstairs. Now I need to, fill them up. So I'd say in the next year, I'd like to double the amount of agents I have and double my business.
That's awesome. And also, you're going to start pushing the boundaries on your geographical location. No longer do you think, oh, I'm just a Greenwood, South Carolina guy. You're going to start to expand and possibly hire agents in those other areas if you get enough business from the remote locations. Yeah,
absolutely.
What advice would you give, let's say, I was going to say a new realtor, but even if you've been in real estate for a long time, time doesn't guarantee success in real estate, right? A lot of people think, well, if you're at this for a long time, you're going to be successful. But, Kellar, you and I have met a lot of realtors. We know a lot of realtors that have been struggling at real estate for many, many years. And things just basically don't change for a lot of realtors. The realtor that sells 5 or 10 homes a year keeps selling 5 or 10 homes a year.
Yeah.
And they know there's a better way, but they kind of get locked into what they do. And obviously, a big thing that we talk about is changing your paradigm, right? Changing the way you look and the way you think about real estate. Because let's face it, if you don't change the way you think about real estate, you're not going to change what you do. And if you don't change what you do, you're not going to change the results. So most people just think about it a certain way. They look around at all the realtors in the marketplace and how they do it and all the crap that they've been taught since they've been in real estate. And that's why coming to our meetings, or at least talking to us, we call it a breakthrough call for a reason. We're not calling it, hey, the incremental gain call. We're going to show you how to go from 5 to 10 homes or 10 to 15. We want to show you how to have a real business and blow this thing up. Here we've got Kellar, 265 transactions, and you're like, I'm just scratching the surface here.
Yeah. And it's not only the agents that are struggling, it's the agents that are doing pretty good. The agents that are selling 20, 30, 40 houses a year, they're always selling 20, 30, 40 houses a year. Because they don't improve and change and, say hire an assistant or something as simple as that. And, they're stuck in that rut.
I think a lot of times, Keller, I think realtors, they might look at you 265 transactions, wants to double it up. And they might think, oh my God, I'm already working so hard. I'm already working 6 or 7 days a week. To double or triple my business would mean like I'm not even going to have a life, right? It might mean like I'll be divorced or I'll have health problems or I won't see my kids. But the opposite is true. The more sales you've done, the bigger you've grown your business, the more freedom and the more time that you've been able to have in your life.
Oh, I'm telling you. Yeah. I mean, the more I the more I grow, it seems like the more time I have off. I mean, I can take off as much time as I want right now. My business, I don't go on the appointments. So I have a business. It doesn't depend on me. Although but I'm so excited to come to work on these projects and to do the next thing. And that, I like to work, but I don't have to.
Yeah, but it's okay. So there we have it. I like to work, but I don't have to. And Keller, you're working on your business.
I'm working on it. I'm working on it.
Right. So the days are gone where Keller's running around with buyers and sellers. He has agents on his team in his company that do that. And he is basically running the business, in charge of lead generation, in charge of recruiting, hiring, training, managing the team. Those are the rainmaker activities that Kellar Lawrence is focused on. So anybody can do this. I always remember as a kid growing up, I always remember, I don't know who I heard it from, but people saying, the more you make, the less you do. And when I first got into real estate, like that wasn't true for me. The only way for me to make more was working more. Right. And like the first couple of years were a grind where I was working. I think I sold 55 homes by myself in my second year. And that was about it. I mean, I'm basically just trading time for money, and I've got no more time to trade. I'm already maxed out working whatever it is, 70, 80 hours a week. So for me, starting to leverage with people and marketing just made sense, because I looked around at other businesses. I'm like, well, my lawyer, probably 80% of what he does is delegated to legal assistants. My accountant has junior accountants. So I was one of the first, if not the first, licensed real estate agent, not a broker. I've never been a broker, but real estate agent to hire other licensed agents. And that was like forward thinking in the late 1980s,
Yeah.
Today.
I remember you telling the story about you didn't even have time to go to the bank and cash all the commission checks. You had a drawer full of uncashed commission checks.
True story. Yep. When I hired my first administrative assistant, in the top right-hand drawer of my desk, she found like 17 uncashed commission checks. Now, not only, okay, so two things. Not only did I not have time to go to the bank, I wasn't going to do anything with the money anyway, even if it was in the bank, because I was working all the time. So I wasn't able to enjoy it. But yeah, we've come a long way. I grew that team. We were doing between $3 and $4 million in GCI. And that's when $3 or $4 million was a lot of money. And within 3 years, I became the top RE/MAX agent in the world. And that's whatever there is, 100,000, 130,000 RE/MAX agents. So that's how I got into coaching and training. That kind of launched it, because all these RE/MAX agents, like, how is this guy doing it? He's only in his, he's in his 20s. He's only had his license for 3 years. And so I was blessed with, failing and then figuring out how to succeed, and then being able to share all that learning with great guys like you, Keller. It's been a great run, and I'm really looking forward to us all getting back together, and because we've had such great friendships, and it's a way of life for us. Yeah. And we just love the whole entrepreneurial part of learning from each other and growing. So I want to thank you so much for doing this. But before we wrap this up, if I'm a realtor in South Carolina, and I'm serious, I'm entrepreneurial, and I'm watching this, I've heard of this Kellar Lawrence guy, or maybe you haven't heard of Keller, but you ought to, like, you've heard of him now. And they want to reach out to find out more about your very entrepreneurial leading edge company, your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. what's the best way for someone to reach you and have just a conversation about where their business could go by partnering up with you?
My cell phone is 864-941-2239, 864-941-2239. And would love to talk to anybody or, quick chat or be honored to.
Yeah, well, look, it's just a conversation. There's no downside to picking up the phone and calling Keller or myself. If you want to talk about lead generation or reaching your leads or conversion, better converting your leads or listing presentations or buyer presentations or building your team, recruiting, hiring, training your team, you want to talk to me about technology, anything to do with direct response marketing, book your call now. There's no downside. It's free. Here's what's going to happen. I'll spend an hour with you. We'll talk about your business, find out where you're at. At the end of the hour, if you want to hire me and work with me, I would love that. But there's no obligation. At a minimum, we're going to have a great conversation, and at least you'll identify some opportunities that can help you moving forward in your real estate business. So I want to thank Kellar Lawrence from Greenwood, South Carolina, 15-year plus Craig Proctor member. Thank you so much for everything you do in the Craig Proctor organization, Kellar.
Well, man, Craig, thank you very much. It's been an honor, man. I'm truly honored that you wanted to chat with me this morning. I appreciate it. And look forward to seeing you in Anaheim in next month, right?
That's right. We're going to be back to physical conferences here very shortly. Looking forward to it. Kellar Lawrence, keep killing it in Greenwood, South Carolina, and all over South Carolina for that matter.
Yes, absolutely. All right, man. Thanks, Craig.
This is the Craig Proctor Real Estate Show. Thank you for watching. Take care, and we'll talk to everybody next time.